everybody. Hello, welcome. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome all to this webinar. Let's give a couple of minutes for some more people to join us. Okay. So I plan to give a couple of more minutes for everybody to join us, and I'll start on 1834. Yeah, let's go with that. I think we're gonna have more than enough time to do that, to complete the webinar. I hope everybody can hear me properly and can also see me and my screen. I'm sharing my screen to this half purple, half white thing. Yeah, I can see thumbs up. Excellent. That's very good news. So at the moment, I am the only host. My co-host bailed on me because it is nearly Christmas, and this is what people do nearly Christmas, apparently. So just for you to know, if something happens and the recording dies on me, I will join back and continue. This webinar is also recorded, and we plan to upload it on the PCS Health and Care, Faculty of Health and Care webpage in due time. I assume it will be after Christmas and New Year break. So with that said, I'm here to talk to you about exploring Tableau and other data visualization tools, not just Tableau, into transforming healthcare data and make them into actionable insights. My name is Dr. Elisaveta Andrikopoulou. Everybody's calling me Ellie. I am a senior lecturer at the University of Portsmouth in computer science and data analytics. I am also the Faculty of Health and Care in PCS, Events, Communications and Publications Lead. I am a senior lecturer at the University of Portsmouth for about 7 years now, and I teach Tableau for 6 years. I don't really use health data on my everyday job. Desktop, public BOK. Yes, Enrico. So I will use Tableau Desktop to showcase my exercise. You can use public, or you can just follow along, because the exercise will be recorded and you can just continue at your pace. I do understand that everybody has their own pace, and this is a kind of a silent webinar. I will go on with a pace, and you sort of can interrupt me, but also not so much. It's not a face-to-face kind of exercise. So Tableau is one of the tools we're gonna be you can use to transform healthcare data. You're welcome. It is one of the tools I have used in the past. It's not the only one. There are other. But before we go there, I would also like to give you a slight introduction about data visualization in general. Not only for healthcare, but as a science, in principle. What is data visualization, for example? It's the visual representation of the data to facilitate understanding. And it is important to understand how the mind works, because we all wake up in the morning and we don't give that a second thought. Our minds are wired in a very specific way, and this wiring can play tricks on us. So here it is. Here it is. Some contents of what are we going to be talking about today. A little bit about data visualization in general, a little bit of introduction to Tableau and the data set that I have for you, which is about synthetic data, of course. We're going to be creating our visualizations, the dashboard, and then some conclusion and questions. And so good data visualizations are typically the ones that are truthful, functional, beautiful, insightful, and lightful, and fit for purpose. And that final one, the fit for purpose, is maybe the most important for healthcare. Rads, I think, is that a hand for a question? I'm not sure. If you want, you can just type your question, if that's okay. Or would you like to talk? I can allow you to talk. It was a heart emoji. Okay, then. Sorry. So a good visualization, there are a lot of different frameworks that they say, and nearly every author, they have developed a framework, either in journalism or in data science or in data visualization by itself as science, as a principle. And one of the most sensible ones, in a way, and useful, are the SAFER 4Cs of data visualization guidelines that I have found. And this person said, or this author said, that visualization needs to be clear, basically easy to see, easy to understand, and clean. So not over labeling things and not putting data over data and make things too dark or too complicated. No, that's all right. Welcome. Concise and captivating. So does it capture attention? Does it tell a story? Is it interesting? It does. A data visualization, one would say, it needs to be a minimalist. Or somebody else will say it needs to be a maximalist. And somebody else will say, oh, the truth belongs in the middle. But for me, and as Enrico very well said and copied what, actually pasted what Taftly said, it's all about fit for purpose. And if it is for you to develop something or design something, it's not just, okay, I designed something and then I think it works. Well, yes, I think it is better. Well, yes, define better. It is important to understand that certain elements can affect more than one area. So this visualization is from Storytelling with Data. This is a book. You can find it in pages 38 to 39. I don't know if you can Google it and find it on the website as well, in that specific, from that specific visualization. But it is important to understand that specific elements that can affect more than one area. For example, if there is a poor chart type or a 3D graphic used, it could violate both the clear and the clean principle. And if the chart is loaded with data, is loaded with data labels at every opportunity, then it could easily violate both clean and concise. On the other hand, it's quite possible to create a very clean chart following all the appropriate data visualization rules, but the message is lost, or it may not be fit for purpose. For purpose, for example, for a patient-facing dashboard. And this is what we often see in practice. Thank you for the link, Charlotte. So let's first familiarize ourselves with Tableau. I put the link to the Tableau public on the chat just now. And I think this is the link, yeah. So here is, that link goes here, that website. So Tableau has educational licenses and many product licenses. And it's not the only tool in the market that does this job, right? Far from it. Based on Forbes 2014, the market leader currently is Microsoft Power BI. Second is Tableau, ClickSense, Clipfolio, Looker, Zoho Analytics, and many more. Now, the key principles between all of these tools are typically the same. So the fit for purpose, the cleanliness of a chart, the conciseness, the need to user test a chart, the chart types, all of these things that we are thinking before developing a chart, before developing a visualization, when we have some data, are usually the same thing. We usually think the same decisions, we are having the same thought process, and so on. So it is typical, we learn one tool and then we jump from one tool to the other tool to the other tool. I will be using a relatively older version of Tableau at the moment. It is not much different from the current version. The reason is that I am using it through via my own job, and this is the version we're currently having. So when you start Tableau, as I said, I will be using Tableau Desktop and not Tableau Public. Feel free to move along with me, or to just listen to what I'm going to be saying. And when the video will go onto the Faculty of Health and Care website, you can then pause whatever I'm going to be saying and do it at your own time. So the Tableau desktop I am having, as I said, it is quite an old version. When you start Tableau desktop, you start it and it opens exactly very similar to that. Now, I have quite a number of projects in the past I have done, so you have old projects here. If you never started Tableau, this bit here will be empty for you. I hope you can all see my mouse moving. I can start moving my mouse slowly if you cannot follow my mouse. Down here at the bottom in all of your tableaus, you can see the Superstore, regional, and world indicators datasets. I do understand these are not healthcare datasets by no means. However, these are examples every Tableau has to get you started with Tableau and its potential to get you started with some examples. Majority of the examples that you will find on Tableau and Tableau tutorials online, they will utilize either the Superstore dataset or something similar to that. So the dataset I'm going to be using, as I said, it is healthcare related, not too complicated, obviously, because at the end of the day, I'm a computer scientist and not a medical professional doctor, and I don't want my head to explode. And it has to be open source, so no under any license. So we will start with the sleep and health lifestyle dataset. That dataset, it is a free-to-use dataset. I found that from Kaggle. I did not want, again, I did not wanted to use something too complicated or too long. The sleep health and lifestyle dataset comprises of 400 rows and 13 columns, covering a wide range, pardon me, of variables relating to sleep and daily habits. It includes details such as gender, age, occupation, sleep duration, quality of sleep, physical activity level, stress levels, BMI category actually, blood pressure, heart rate, daily steps, and the presence or absence of sleep disorder. So the very first thing that I do personally when I start with a dataset is to open it. When you download it, you will see that the file is a CSV. What I did, the very first thing that I did is to go and save it as an Excel, only because I'm more comfortable with Excel, nothing else. It doesn't have any difference. And I noticed that this is all synthetic data. So if there is any person here that is a sleep expert, by no means, don't take offense. My apologies. All of this data are synthetic and they mean absolutely nothing. So the BMI category, if you go to the data set, you will find out that some of them are normal and some of them are normal weight. What I did is I removed all the normal weight and I moved them and I replaced them with just normal. And I just put some more insomnias and sleep apneas because I thought there were too many nuns for my liking. I just wanted more interesting, colorful graphs to show you. I thought I did, Vasily. Yes. Didn't I? I did. Yes, thank you. This is the link to the dataset. Thank you, Enrico. So I will show you how to find the dataset as well. Okay, so the link I provide comes to here. And this is Kaggle. And that website has a lot of datasets to play with. Open source. You can sign in for free. And you can go and explore many, many datasets and search about your own specialties as well, or your own interests, and whatever your heart desires, from alcohol to smoking to, I don't know, menstrual health to sleep deprivation and anything in between. So you scroll down a little bit and you go to the Data Explorer, and around here it is. And next to the Data Explorer, there is that download button. You hit that and it downloads that CSV file. And hopefully, when you open that CSV file, you can go to your Excel. You can open it with an Excel, Microsoft Excel. And what I did was go here, File, Save As. I went to my own location, which is the BCS Tableau webinar insightful name. And it used to be a lovely CSV, and I moved it into an Excel workbook. But I saved it as an Excel workbook, save. No, I don't want to save it again, cancel. And that came here. Yeah? Does it make sense? Well, hopefully. All right, so, and here, some of these normals were normal weight. And if you open it, you will see that. So I didn't like some of these to be normal and some of these to not be normal weight. So basically what I did, you can choose to clean your data however you want. But the easiest thing for me was I went Control F and I replaced all the normal weight with normal. And I clicked Find All initially to make sure that I'm not, and I replaced them. And that was it. And what I did, I just randomly hit some extra sleep apneas and insomnias because I wanted more colorful pie charts and bar charts and stuff like that to show you guys. And not so few sleeping disorders, because I think I used the sleeping disorder in one of my visualizations. So I just wanted more of those. Because as I said before, these are synthetic data, so it doesn't really matter. So after you finish all of that, which is some sort of a cleaning of the data set, which is not very efficient or very insightful, to be honest, but yeah, assuming this, then the second bit is you save your work. You're happy with your work, you save your work. Let's say we're that. And to load the data set to Tableau, you find your folder where you have your data set, which is exactly that, on my BCS Tableau webinar lovely folder. And I drag and drop on my area here that says open. And I just drag and drop. I didn't do anything else. I didn't do any magic. And Tableau by itself opened this area, this work area for me. I can see all my data here, down here. This is my data set. I can also add further data sets here. So if I have this spreadsheet that may have more more sheets. So the Excel might have worksheet 1, 2, 3, 4. I can add all the worksheets there. Now this sleep apnea dataset has only one worksheet, so I only work with one. So here, in that area, on the bottom right corner, I can see that I have the person ID, the gender, the age, occupation, sleep duration, and whatnot. If you notice, you will see some hashtags, ABCs. The hashtag means that this is a number. Now, the person ID is really not a number. It might be a number, but this is supposed to be a person ID, such as if you're doing research, an identifier, participant one. So I'll change that as a string. Usually Tableau is very good at understanding what these things are, but this person already confused it. The rest, they look okay to me. And I will go to my first worksheet. A worksheet in Tableau is basically where we're going to be doing the first visualization. And the first visualization, I want to find out if does the BMI affect the quality of sleep? Now, based on my data. Now, I do understand that it does to an extent, right? Based on the research. But let's see whether my data will agree. Or how would I show that? A very good practice is to give interesting titles on my visualizations instead of just say, I investigate BMI versus quality of sleep. It would be more interesting to say, does BMI affect the quality of sleep? Well, more interesting to whom? Maybe to me. So this is kind of a good practice advice, if you want. So I would say, does BMI affect the quality of sleep? If you notice what I did, I double-clicked here. I typed the title, and this title automatically came here. I am able to double-click here on the title itself, and this edit title will appear. And here you will see that sheet name. This sheet name corresponds to that sheet name down here. And no matter what this sheet name is, that will be the title here. And I can change that. I can change the font type. I can change the font size. I can change the font type. I can do anything I want. I did change the font size here to match what I want to do in the future, to make it slightly smaller for a better dashboard further down the line. So all three of the visualizations that I want to do, they fit better because I had already tried it. But usually this is a trial and error after you do the visualizations. So the very first thing I want to do is create a donut chart or a glorified pie chart. Because who doesn't love a pie chart or a donut chart? Now, pie charts, you can do them in Tableau, but you cannot do a donut chart. They don't have a donut chart. So I thought that would be an interesting chart to do. To start with, you double click on here that says rows, double click, double left click, and you type AVG bracket 0, and you hit enter. You leave it as it is. You do nothing else. Double click next to it, directly next to it, again, and you type AVG bracket 0 one more time. This basically generates 2 0 rows. That's all you need. Pardon me, this is not what I wanted. Why did we want to do that? Because again, there are no donut charts, and we want to create one pie chart, and inside, what is the donut chart? One pie chart, and inside there is a white sphere. Yeah, if you visualize that a little bit. So you will see here on the sort of middle and towards the left a little bit, that says a marks card. Hello, good day. A marks card. In the all marks card then, select pie chart instead of the automatic. Down here a little bit. So you left click automatic pie. And from the dimensions, from the dimensions here, because these are called dimensions, I want you to put the BMI category into color. And you will see here the BMI category, blue is normal, yellow is obese, and red overweight. And now in the angle, I want the quality of sleep. Yes, you are getting the video recording of the session. Of course you are. Oh, apologies. This is not here. This is in the first. Got to change that. So the BMI in the first of the marks card, not in the all. In the first will go the BMI in the color and the quality of sleep in the angle. You will see here that this changed and this one is gray. Yeah. And I hope you can sort of get where I'm going to go with that. Now, I also want to see some sort of a percentage here. So I want the quality of sleep to go into the label. Now, that's not very percentage-like. So that label, it would be good if it was percentage of total to begin with. But what is a percentage of total? So how much is the quality of sleep percent of total? Let's think a little bit about it. So before we think about, whilst we're thinking about that, I want to make this bigger. So to see it in entire view, make this bigger and make this bigger. And also I want to make that white. And how do we merge these two? Every chart merges the same region. If you have two rows, if you have any chart with two rows, you right click on the second row and you hit dual axis, and this happens. So now we can make it thinner or bigger, our chart. To remove the headers, because that AVG0 doesn't mean much, right click on that AVG0 and untick show header. Right click again, show header. No headers. That looks interesting. That looks more interesting. Now, these percentages, again, I'm not really sure about those percentages. So if I right click here on the sum quality of sleep that has the T symbol, which is a label, this opens and I hit edit table calculation. That allows me to calculate different things. and I calculate the percentage which is different from a specific dimension. So at which percentage am I different from normal? Which percentage are the obese and the overweight are different from normal? So are relative to normal. You can sort the order to specific dimensions, leave that like that. So, and here you have how much the quality of sleep is different between obese and normal and between overweight and normal, which makes for a more interesting Hillary, I will share that with you. Here you go. Which is arguably, well, to me, a more interesting finding. Now, as I said, I'm a researcher. I'm a health informatician. I have a PhD in health informatics. So this is an interesting finding for me. Now, and I asked a question, does BMI affect the quality of sleep? By this, I can answer yes, it does. And that's why I wanted these percentages, right? Now, what I want to do are two things here, because this chart answers the question, but it's not very user friendly. What I want to do is right click on this zero and annotate this mark. And Control A, delete everything, and put this little text here and say that the normal BMI is our baseline and we compare the obese and overweight group with this. So people can actually understand what we have done and why this is zero, although the blue thing is the biggest bit. Because people will explode, will see that, they will think, what is that? There are other things what you can do. You can make these things bigger, smaller, the fonts to follow the colors and all sorts to make things easier to read. But at this stage, we're gonna keep it too simple. So the second chart that I want to show you is how age and physical activity affects, goodness me, affects hours of sleep. And apparently I cannot type. So I will start with age. Let's put age here. And let's put physical activity. What is physical activity? I lost physical activity. Okay, here we go. Lovely. And I want some sort of hours of sleep duration. Let's go with sleep duration. Let's put it on tooltip. So I want to see it, I don't want to see it on the chart. I want to see it when I hover over with my mouse. That's what tooltip does. But I want to see on the chart the people. So I'll put it on the shape. Oh dear Lord, this is a lot of people. maybe I don't want to see the people on the shape. So, that looks better if I put the people on the label. Okay, so I have the people on the label. And then it would be interesting. Are there any principles guiding the variables we place? Basically, what you want to show and what type of chart you want to develop, John. I just saw your question, John. So here I want to create a scatter plot. So I want to create a scatter plot, and I put the columns, the physical activity, and in rows the age. I could do vice versa. In this case, for me, it wouldn't matter. I would try both way. I tried both ways when I was preparing this webinar, and this version appealed to my eye more. And I will show you how to try both ways in a second. It's very easy. So I put the gender as well here in shape. And I only do that to show you a very interesting thing, because a lot of you will see in not only with Tableau but with many tools, the utilization of icons, and it is very user friendly. So you will see here I put genders into shape, and I will go as how to say stereotypical as you can. Yeah, that's fine. So female in shape, I will go gender, and I will pick the gender, the stereotypical gender female, and male. I will go to the stereotypical male icon. I also put the gender color into the color, and I will go, as I said, in the most stereotypical way possible. Yes, I will email you the link to the recorded. I don't know if I can email you the link to the recorded video. I will have to ask BCS, but if I can, I will let them know. Otherwise, please check. Check with the faculty of BCS Health and Care. We will upload that video just after January, I think. Or you can email me directly at this one. Feel free to any of you to email me directly. Okay, so yeah, I just went as stereotypical as possible. For me, the most interesting way to go would be to go with either your company colors or your research colors. Okay, so another thing that I want to show you here is that I really don't like to have these numbers, but I really also need to have every single person plotted on my chart. So what I want to do is I want to go to that label thing. And in the text here, if I hit those three dots, it comes edit label. It comes as person ID. I just remove that. Okay. And everything is gone. And the dots remain here. Another thing, because age 0 and physical activity level 0, these are all, especially the physical activity level is kind of an arbitrary measurement we have. It is good practice to start with a 0, 0 axis, but sometimes you don't really need that. You can edit this axis. Right click, edit axis. And you can have general, automatic, and remove the include 0 as a tick. So then Tableau will start with the activity level just below 30. The same with the age. Sometimes this is a good thing to do. No worries. Sometimes this is a good thing to do. Sometimes really, really needs to be avoided. It is kind of a preference, and also kind of a business rule as well, and what you're trying to show. So by no means, if you're having kind of a cost or sort of sales or sort of data that they are kind of sensitive, you can't do that. Now, let's make it a little bit more interesting and add some reference lines of averages here to make, let's make that bigger, entire view, and add some averages. So an average age reference line, I dragged it. I took custom reference line, either pane or table, it doesn't matter in our case. Here, I want the average age, custom. Average age is 42 years old. And then I can also put, for the physical activity, the same thing. I could put that as a dotted line. I can put custom and average physical activity. Is activity level is 59.2. So this is a second. Okay, so this is a second chart, our second chart. There are also many ways you can make this abide by the rules. In our case here, I would make this smaller, the title, because again, I know what I'm looking for. And it would be great to remove the grid at the back. So if I right click at the white space and format, and here at the format font, that format font opens and I can see A and this kind of options. I can go to this, to the final kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. I can't see very well. And they have the grid lines and I can hit none. This makes it look a bit cleaner because there are many, many lines, and the ink on the page is too much, and it becomes a little bit confusing. So we have this one. You can also do the same here and remove that line. And we have the second one. And now, let's go for the third one. And again, all of them are kind of meant to say, to go into the same dashboard, to go into the same study about the sleep, the effect, how the sleep health and lifestyle study. And I keep on clicking that button here, which says new worksheet. So again, double click. And I want to identify which is the average sleep duration by occupation and sleep disorder. And this will be a little bit more standardized, if you want, chart. So type of a bar chart. So let's put, I promised to show you how you can see flipped charts, how you can flip a chart. So on Tableau, you will find this button, swap rows and columns. If you hit it, that's exactly what it does. It swaps the age and physical activity. If you see now, age is down here as in the column, and then the physical activity is in the rows. So you can very easily, after you build the chart, you can see how it looks better. And more often than not, this is a complete personal preference, unless there is any business rule that tells you have to build your charts this way. For me, what I usually do is I print the charts, or I have the charts in two screens next to each other, and I show some of my stakeholders or my users, and I tell them which one do you prefer. And then I count the votes and I go with that one. So let's go back to the third chart, the average sleep duration by occupation and sleep disorder. So I want the occupation in rows, and this actually has a reason, which is why this is there. And I want the gender in columns and the average sleep duration next to gender. So you see here that the gender is female here and male here. And then I have the occupations, accountant, doctors, whatnot, a list of them. And I will put a sum sleep duration as a tooltip. So when I hover over, I can see the number. And what I want is for my bar, wait a moment, let me put it as an entire view. I want this bar to be, I want that as an average, to be able to see the average sleep duration. It matters. So do you see the average sleep duration? Here it says 7.11, whatnot, 8 here, 7 here. Yeah. So here I want the average sleep duration as well. Yeah, the average. And here, let's go back to the sum. Okay, so I can see the average sleep durations here. So you can see the average sleep duration. And you can also read the sleep duration, the summary of the sum of the sleep duration overall, which matters very little. But anyway, so what I want is that if the average sleep duration of all the female doctors is more than 8 hours, this does not concern me at all because they do what they supposed to be doing. But if they are less than 8 hours, then they should try to change it because they all that everybody says that you need to sleep how long? 8 hours, isn't it? We need to all sleep 8 hours. So what I want to do is I want to create a field, a new variable that will help me calculate that. So in order for me to do that, I will go to that white space here and right click and create calculated field, or I will go to that little tiny arrow here, hit it, and create calculated field. In either way, this window will open, and I will name it positive overall with a question mark. So, do they sleep enough or not, is the question. And what I want is the average sleep duration more than 8 hours? And what do I want? This is a true or false, and I want to put that on color. And Tableau, if you see here, it did false is blue, true is orange. But I don't really like these colors, so I want to edit colors. And I will go and I put true as gray and false as red. And I will have that. Now, I can also add here sleep disorders. And finally, I end up with this graph. Now, let's go and try to create a dashboard. New dashboard. And this is how it opens. So in the dashboard, there are a couple of things. Here, you can see we have all our sheets that we have created. The dashboard can have a title or not. It can be tiled or floated. That means basically if you have a tiled dashboard, you put things in a very specific place, like Lego bricks, which is good and it isn't good. At the moment, I will leave it tiled and I will change it in a bit. So I can leave it as is or change it. I don't really like this here. So let's go with that. And let's go like this. All right. So I don't want this. I don't want that. And I don't want that. And this one, I want it to float. Now I want it floating, and this one, I want it to float. Float. It's floating, found it. Okay. So here now, I notice that this chart is going to be a very interesting one to look, this one, to look sensible. What does it need? So I think this is why I want to remove this and change the title as well. So I want to leave it average sleep duration by occupation. Now here, the question is, do I really need all these headers? Maybe not. So I start removing things or adding things. So the BMI category, I clearly need, because people wouldn't know what these blue, yellow, and red colors are. Then when I start putting things together, I also want to know what more things are. So maybe this red needs, and this gray needs some more explanation. This red and that red also might not be a very sensible thing to be the same color. So maybe I want to go back to the chart and change that overweight color. So instead of red, make it green. Maybe not green. Purple. Go with purple for now. Now, one would say blue and purple, they look very close together. Yes. And you can go have different colors and choose different color palettes. And I would say to you, this dashboard doesn't not look very good. Please interpret the second chart to identify the hours of sleep affected. We can do that. Second chart, how age and physical activity affect hours of sleep. Hours of sleep affected. Sleep duration. Do we have the data is the question. Anithamol. I don't know if we have. Sleep duration we have. This is hours, 6.1 hours. Hours of sleep affected. What does that mean? Quality of sleep. Daily steps. Hours of sleep affected. To do what? I'm not sure what you mean. How to do that. Hours of sleep affected. If you give me a formula, maybe. I don't know how to calculate hours of sleep affected from the physical activity level, for example. What do we do a division or something by something? I'm not sure, to be honest. Now, So let's put, okay, so here I can bring back the legend of this chart, the positive overall. I can also make that float because everything floats. This removes and this floats and this legend can go here for now. Okay, that should do it. Okay, so these legends are in a sort of useful-ish position. But now, age and physical activity affects so so here you have 4 quartiles basically. This is why I put the averages here. I created 4 quartiles. So you have the younger you are and the less physical activity you do, the sleep duration is low-ish. Here, the sleep duration is higher. What we can do is right-click, duplicate this chart, because if we like a chart, usually we don't really sort of destroy it. So let's duplicate the chart to make sure we're not gonna the chart won't explode. And go and create, what do we say as clusters? These clusters, we can make them, we can edit the clusters to put them as, to make the sleep duration as the most important cluster. And then here it is, you can describe the clusters numerically. And here you can say, you can change the colors of the clusters too. If that doesn't work for you, you can put a specific number of clusters, for example, 5 or 4. And you can say here, I can put notations here and say, in this area, this is high physical activity, older age, high sleep, kind of cluster / area, and then low physical activity, younger, no, older age, older than 42 anyway, high sleep, and so on. You can visualize in many ways the same. You can visualize in many ways. There's no right or wrong visualization. Very rarely. It all depends who is your audience and what you want to show. What I wanted to show you is a scatter plot. Maybe it's not the right scatter plot. So I guess here would be another notation, area high activity. What's it? Younger age. Oh. Sleep. Low sleep. What does it say here about the sleep? High sleep. And that was actually low sleep. Okay, so, and this one is everything is a low. Low, low, and low. Okay, no worries. So, regardless, so I can finish because I think we're running borderline over. So I can finish this this dashboard. At the moment, I started with tiled. I went to floating. And now, because I wanted these little bits and bobs to float and overlap, and now I will go back to the tiled. Because if you see in a dashboard, you can use objects, you can add more things. It is very common in a dashboard to have a logo from a business, NHS, whatnot. So because I don't do logo business or anything at the moment, let's go and add, oh, come on. All right, fine. My mouse doesn't like to work. Let's go and add an image at this stage. And I will choose a lovely image of a bed instead of any logo, any image, any media that you might want to add. This is a free image. What's that? What to select? Choose. Play. Pretty much. Play. This is in place of any image, any logo, anything you might want to add. There. Typically, a dashboard might have some sort of a navigation and also some sort of text to explain something. And so I thought to write sleep, health, and lifestyle study findings. To show it. And when I developed that, I thought it would be cool to show that to people that they can't sleep and they are more of a public facing, semi-public, semi-PPI participant to a study kind of a dashboard. That they might have some sort of understanding of what we're doing, but not exactly understanding. So now having something like that, you can also add animations. You can also use filters. So if, for example, gender is what is very important for you, or age range, or as you said to me, hours of sleep, or something like that, anything can become a filter. I think the scatter plot is well revealing how many scares when they're younger than 42. Yes, could be. I mean, I can definitely increase the size of these things. So we can all see, now that is too big. Now, I can definitely increase the size of that. Okay, let's put that aside a little bit. I don't know, maybe if I had done clustering in the beginning. Now, this is the trouble. And that is why I say to everybody, test and test and user test. Because I developed something that made perfect sense to me. That doesn't mean that makes perfect sense to everybody around me. And you find that in your jobs. I'm pretty sure you do. I do all the time, and I say that all the time to my students. And here are a number of females as well. But don't forget here, these are these are fake data, most probably from some sort of AI generated data that person in Kaggle generated. So what I was saying is you can filter some things out. So if gender is important for you specifically, you can right click to gender, let's say, and show filter. And if you right click to gender show filter, you will see on here that gender has become as a tick box, all female and male. I can remove all the males, all the females immediately. And it becomes interactive. The same with, I don't know, ages. So filter. Now, age is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not an arbitrary number. It isn't. I mean, it's not realistic to have an age range 27 to 59, an arbitrary list of, I don't know, how many numbers is that? 31, 32 numbers. It will take a while to start clicking everything. So it is a range, but I can say I'm only interested in people over 40. So how do they do? Or I'm only interested in people less than, I don't know, 36. And you can play around. And you can also, if you so choose, you can click on this little bit here, that arrow next to the gender or any other filter, and to apply to worksheets. Select it, all using related data sources or all using this data source. So the difference between these options is, well, selected worksheets, it will open a list for you to select. And this one, all using this data source, every worksheet in Tableau, on your version of Tableau, that use the sleep dataset. And all using related data sources, all data sources that use not only the sleep dataset, but anything that uses at least the sleep dataset. Yeah. So if I go to all using this data source, you will see, yeah, what is it? You will see, for example, that this PMI affecting quality of sleep In the gender here, I can see the gender filter, and I can show that. And I can play around. You see how it becomes interactive, and so on. So that was it in terms of the webinar. That was all and a little bit more than what I had prepared to show you. Any questions? I'm more than happy to answer. And as I said, feel free to email me. I will tell BCS to email you when the webinar is, when the recording is out and available to you. It will be, due to the Christmas break, it will be after the Christmas break. So any last minute questions? Thank you, Enrico. I hope it helped. If you have any questions or if you need anything, I'm more than happy to help. And yeah, thank you all for coming. It was a lovely session. Thank you. Yes, my email, I will write it in the chat again. The data set, yes, you can have the data set. I shared the data set, didn't I? So the data set, Hillary, is, let me go back to it's somewhere. Yes, this is what just shared again. And I will go back. So Hillary, the data set, if you go to that link that Josh shared, it opens this website. Yep. It also explains what this every little column means. I didn't have time to explain its column, what it means. And to download it, you just click on that button. Just to download it. You just click on that button. That's why I didn't create my own data set to avoid confusions and all that. So this person has a, well, sensible, simple enough data set. Yeah. So you go to that website, scroll down a little bit, and you hit download. Are you okay? Yep. The email link for the video recording. So as I said, this is my email. Feel free to email me. I will share, I can share, yeah, the TWB file. I will tell the PCS to put it on the recording, some sort of to do a package or something. I don't know how they will do that. We'll find out, me and you together. I suppose, Enrico, it is to be seen. So email me. Now, keep in mind that I will be back in the 2nd of January now. So yeah, this is my last working day before Christmas. Hooray. So we will put everything that I used online. I hope first week of January to be available to you. We will let you know. And if you can't access them, email me directly. I'm more than happy to send them to you. And yeah, have a happy holiday and Merry Christmas.